we are tracking some severe weather, potentially of our own here in the metro. We know the rain and winds, they have been a problem all morning. And Chelsea, unfortunately, we've still got a little ways to go with this.
Yes, we do. And right now, our focus is now turning a little farther south of Indianapolis, getting a little bit closer to Bloomington, where the risk for severe weather is starting to increase as the storm system tracks to the northeast. It's going to swing in that cold front. And right now, in downtown Indianapolis, we just have some of that heavy rain, and we have an area of flood warning, so we could have some puddles out there. Slow down. We definitely don't need a hydroplane. The live Doppler 13 shows those pockets of heavy rain. That includes that yellow and also some of the red, indicating some of that heavier pockets of rain near Franklin and Fishers. But check near Fort Wayne, pinks and even some of that white mixing in. It's starting to, in those upper levels, starting to have a little bit of that colder air, so more of that winter weather for northern Indiana. But really, we're going to look a little farther south where this storm system is starting to swing that line of thunderstorms, strong thunderstorms. We have been seeing multiple severe thunderstorm warnings and even a few tornado warnings from time to time, which a tornado watch is extended for a majority of Kentucky and even for parts of southern Indiana. Now, this is just south of our viewing area, south of central Indiana, but we are going to keep a close eye on these storms. Now, I also want to point out, you can see western Kentucky, it is a flashing purple outline. That means it is a confirmed tornado, and that's why it turns from a red polygon to a purple flashing one. So this is why we're keeping a very close eye on these storms. Now, the risk for severe weather is greatest over Kentucky and Tennessee farther to the south. But however, we still have a level 2 threat that is for parts of Bloomington and to Columbus and farther to the southeast. A level 1 threat for Indianapolis to Carmel to Muncie. And again, damaging wind gust is our primary concerns. We are seeing some flooding also as well, but we can't rule out isolated tornadoes as the system moves through our area. So let's time everything out for you. Around 2 o'clock and this afternoon for southern Indiana, that's really going to be our window until about 4 o'clock this afternoon. We're still going to have some heavy rain. Then our focus is going to shift a little bit farther to the north. Some colder air is going to be wrapping in on the backside of this system, especially for northwest Indiana, where colder air could switch that rain over to snow. At times, it could be some heavy snow for northern Indiana, and that could even stretch into Lafayette and parts of Kokomo as well, and maybe just north of Indianapolis, but the system really starts to wrap up late this evening. As I mentioned, strong wind gust. We have a wind advisory until 1 a.m. for wind gust over 45 miles per hour. And current wind gust 40 in Indianapolis, 38 in Shelbyville, and also flooding. We have aerial flood warnings that are currently ongoing for areas in Bloomington. Have already picked up over 2 inches of rain. Flash flood warnings for southern Indiana. A lot that's going on, and currently radar estimates about 1.5 inches for south of Indianapolis, about 1 inch for Indy, and about a 1/2 inch farther north. And then we have to add in the winter weather for our far northern counties. About 2 to 5 inches north of Kokomo will be possible, but as I mentioned, a little bit farther south could about 1 inch to 1.5 inches near Lafayette. So there's a lot going on with this system. You want to be weather aware. We'll have high near 47 today, heavy rain and wind, risk of severe weather really starting to wrap up until about 4 or 5 o'clock this evening.